Well, happy Thursday. It is the 4th. Is it the 4th? It is the 4th of June already, 2020. T+430, journal number 348. There's there are some people who've lauded me for having a great attitude, a positive attitude. And I guess it's understandable in light of everything I've been through, and the fact that I'm still really optimistic. But as we've talked about in the past, I think optimism is a choice. But it's interesting, and I think it's worth exploring. I think my attitude's good, considering everything I've been through, but I'm not sure that it recognizes the conscious effort that goes into maintaining that attitude. And I think I can give you a pretty good example of that. For instance, today, we had to get in the car and drive to Westwood, which is toward the west side of LA. It's where UCLA is located, in the UCLA Medical Center, one of the best hospitals in the country. My primary care physician wanted me to go there for a Doppler ultrasound. My lower extremities, because I've been having a problem with fluid retention since the transplant. Chemotherapy, especially that kind of chemotherapy, can do some strange things to your physiology. And, for a long time, the smart money, the general consensus was that the fluid retention was a result of the anti-rejection drugs that I was on, along with the antivirals and antifungals and everything, antibacterials that I was taking when my immune system was even more decimated, than it is now, as I continue to recover. But as I started to leave those medications behind, the fluid retention never went away. And one of the big problems with swelling in your legs is the fact that it could be related to a clot. And since I've already had a clot and by pulmonary emboli, which can kill you, my primary care wanted to be sure that that wasn't it. So he sent me to UCLA, to the Gonda Venous Center, to have the ultrasound done. Now, the good news is that it was ruled out, that it wasn't, at least it doesn't appear that there are any clots, not even any scarring from the original clot. But that doesn't mean that the trip was devoid of anxiety or concern. You don't have to be a fool not to be concerned about the possibility of a clot, because a clot means a possibility of emboli, and emboli means that the possibility of getting dead, and getting dead is not something anybody really strives for. Certainly not me. And there was a lot of concern there, because realistically, if they had found something, it would have meant walking across the street to the hospital and spending the evening in Westwood as an inpatient. And that's not a lot of fun. Unscheduled hospitalizations are not a lot of fun. They're not an activity of choice, as it were. But realistically, it wouldn't have paralyzed me with fear. I wouldn't have, melted down into a puddle of anxiety and concern. I would have just had to go ahead and take a moment, center myself, regroup, recognize how fortunate I am that they found it early, and that it didn't become a silent killer, and didn't negate a lot of hard work over 1 year and 2 months of being post-transplant. And ultimately, in thinking about all of this as I wrote it and now as I record it, I think it's all about relief. You know, you remember the old commercial, how do you spell relief? I think it was for Tums, antacid. But I think in this case, relief is spelled with a combination of information and action. And the action that you take is centering yourself and figuring out the good things that you can pull out of whatever it is so that your attitude remains intact. And, you know, the information that it takes to get that done. So, something to think about as the evening moves on. In the meantime, stay well, stay safe, stay home, stay focused. Take care.